Well, go ahead, introduce yourself and kind of fill us in and let us know what we should be knowing.
Okay, well, I'm Rebekah Fetzer, and I'm the executive director at Susanna's house. And I'm also one of the pastors at Cokesbury United Methodist Church. And 14 years ago, not 14 years ago, I'm sorry, 9 years ago, we started Susanna's house to deal with the problem of particularly neonatal abstinence syndrome that was happening at an alarming rate in East Tennessee. Because, and even now, every 25 minutes, a baby is born in the United States with neonatal abstinence syndrome, which is what happens to a newborn when a mother is ingesting drugs during her pregnancy, and then the baby is born and has to withdraw from those drugs. Mostly opioids are what causes the problem. And so about 10 years ago, actually now, I was called to come to Children's Hospital and visit with a family from our church who was adopting a baby. And they were at Children's, and they had a baby that was in the NICU, the neonatal intensive care unit at Children's Hospital. And they were upset because the baby had already been in the NICU for 2 weeks. The baby, it turned out, was withdrawing from the morphine that her mother had been ingesting during pregnancy. So I went down to Children's, and this was my first time meeting a baby who had neonatal abstinence syndrome. I had been working with recovery services at Cokesbury for almost about 15 years at that time. And it just knocked me over the head that babies could be born this way, because this little baby was screaming in pain. The little baby had a horrible diaper rash and stomach issues and some really bad stuff going on. And I was just thinking, good grief, here's this brand new baby who knows nothing else of this world other than pain and suffering. And I just thought that was very wrong. And then I found out from the nurse in the hospital that most of the babies are removed from custody with their mothers. And so their mothers are not even there to comfort them when they have neonatal abstinence syndrome. So I left there that day just thinking, somebody's got to do something about this. Nobody was doing anything about it except what was happening in the hospital, which was the withdrawal process, which was painful. And I just thought, we can't help those babies without helping the mothers. And so that was when Susanna's house was kind of born in my heart. And then I started gathering people around and getting all the information that we could about neonatal abstinence syndrome and about the mothers. And we began a program called Susanna's House. And our building is not far from Volunteer Ministry Center. We're kind of up the hill on Dameron Avenue. So we're kind of in the city center along with you guys. And it's a program. We have an intensive outpatient program for mothers and their children. Their children come with them, the ones who have custody of their children. And we have a full daycare center for them while their mothers are in treatment. They come here 3 days a week for intensive outpatient. And we treat them for free. We don't charge them anything because the population that we have targeted for our program are really the most vulnerable in our society. And they're those who can't afford the $30,000 payment for a program in our community. So our program is long-term. It's not a 30-day program where they come and they get their certificate and then they go out from here. That's not how it works. Ours is a long-term program. They come those 3 days a week for classes and individual therapy as well. We use evidence-based treatment. They also can get MAT treatment here, but they come and they learn parenting skills. They learn all about recovery. They go through a 4-stage recovery program that helps them maintain sobriety for the long term. And it's they have to start with stage 1, and then there's a whole list of activities that they have to accomplish before they can get to stage 2. And so it really takes about a year for them to get through that program, these mothers. And while they're doing all of that, their children are in a safe space and in trauma-informed childcare in our building as well. We started out as intensive outpatient only. And then I always tell people that the very first day that I was here on this property that used to be the Wesley House Community Center, I had a dream that we would have housing for the moms, because I knew that that was one of the absolute most important things for them to be able to get into recovery and to stay in recovery, would to be in safe housing with their children. So that's what we have been working on for the past 9 years. And then in October of this year, we were able to open a house that handles 8 moms and 8 babies, that they can live right next door to the house that we are in, the Susanna's house that we're in. And then they can come to Susanna's house for their intensive outpatient program from right next door. And they're sheltered in a lot of ways that they might not be otherwise, but our whole purpose is to help them get on their feet, to be able to be clean and sober for the long term, and to be able to parent their children in the way that God intended for them to do. So one of the things that we work on a lot with the moms also is the attachment between the mother and the child. So we have specific therapies that also for them. We have CPP, which is child parent psychotherapy, and the moms and the children work together who have been through traumatic circumstances and deal with the trauma and work on the trauma. And of course, we deal with ACEs and all that, both with the mother and with the child. So that's a really important part of what we do, is to help that attachment and bonding take place with the mother and the child. Our housing, like I said, opened in October. It's been a real eye opener to have people on the property 24 hours a day. And it's been a very kind of a difficult thing. It's not an easy thing to start something brand new like that, but we're wading through that and making changes as we go, and doing things that we need to do to make it possible for moms and children to be very safe and to be in a place where they're loved and cared for, and where they also can be in community together and work on the same kind of problems together that they have. We have a couple of peer support recovery folks who come in the evenings and work with them, and then come in on the weekends and work with the moms who are in the housing. And we also have a prenatal program for pregnant moms who come to our place to get ready for childbirth and to get ready to parent an infant. And we have parenting classes for everything from infants all the way up through teenagers too, for moms who have those. So I don't, what else what else would you like to know? I mean, I'm sure people have questions, because I don't think of everything ever, always. We're certified by the Tennessee Department of Mental Health and Substance Abuse Services. And it was the department that helped us also to build the housing. We got a grant from them to help build the house. That's how we got the funding for that. Otherwise, we're a nonprofit. We are a 501c3 nonprofit. We are faith-based. We don't proselytize or any of that, but we feel like it's important. The spiritual aspect of recovery is as important as any other aspect, if not more so. And so we are able to kind of pass on the relationship with the higher power to these moms, and to help them in their spiritual walk as well. So we really cover the physical, spiritual, mental, and emotional, the whole person with these moms and with their babies and their kids.
Well, this is excellent, excellent. I had heard of you all, but didn't know this much in depth of what you all do. And I've kind of made myself a few little notes of some individuals that may can, assist or, be partners with in those things. Is there certain numbers of rooms that you all have or can house or?
Right now, it's just 8. However, we're in the process now of getting the funds to build the second house, and we have them lined up. It's just a matter of getting it all in one place at one time. As you know, when you're dealing with government grants and other things, it's hard to get it all in one place at one time. But we already excavated and ready to go for the second house, and so that will give us the possibility of having 16 moms and 16 babies in our housing. Hopefully that'll be within this year.
The chat was that a question? Okay. That's good to know. Is this Sam? Is this a question that you're asking about? You mentioned that SH also offers MAT with medication. Does that include?
Yeah, which medication.
Yes.
I didn't hear the question.
I can ask it. You mentioned that Susanna's house offers medication-assisted treatment, and I was just wondering what medications that includes.
Right this minute, we're only using Vivitrol that comes from Susanna's house. That we write the scripts for. That we're able to write the scripts for that. However, we are now in the process of getting on our part-time staff a psychiatric nurse practitioner who's going to be able to write scripts for buprenorphine and other psychiatric medications. We deal with a lot of depression and a lot of postpartum depression and all kinds of depression and anxiety. Those are mainly the psychiatric medicines that we help them get. And then we will be providing buprenorphine for those once we have the person on our staff.
Thank you as well. If you like, you can put your name and email address. If you haven't already in the chat, you all can then kind of look through it if they can reach out to you. If anyone has any more additional questions or maybe want to join up as partnerships, who knows with you where this may go and lead.
Okay, thank you. I will.
Thank you as well. I appreciate your time.
Sorry to interrupt. There was one more question in the chat. Jonathan had asked, does the program include people who are still pregnant
yes,
or for those who have given birth?
Yes, both. And we have some pregnant moms in the house. When we first opened the house in October, it was funny because we had 5 in there at one time who were pregnant, who all gave birth within about a 5-week period. So we doubled our population in the house within just a few minutes almost, it seemed like. And that was fun and exciting, but it was also challenging, as you can imagine, having newborns. But we are all of our policies and procedures are carefully designed to support that and to support the safety of that newborn and to support the safety of the mom as well.
That was a busy house.
It is a busy house, and as with any other housing, as y'all probably know, it is the challenge. There's drama. There are all the things that you would have anytime you have eight ladies living together and 8 children. You're gonna have some drama and some things unfolding. So that's just part of life. That's just part of learning to live together and learning to get along, and us learning how to help them. But yes, pregnant women have always been welcome. And in fact, really it was started to help the pregnant women in our community who are struggling with substance abuse so that we could help them get clean and sober before the birth so we can avoid the neonatal abstinence syndrome problem to begin with. And that was the whole purpose of the program to start with, was to help them not have babies who had to withdraw and to help them be able to keep their babies in their custody. Because the foster care system, as you know, is well overloaded, and mostly it's overloaded with children of mothers who and parents who are struggling with substance abuse. That's the vast majority of the kids who are in our foster care system. So that's what we're trying to avoid, trying to help that out too.
That's definitely is unfortunate. So I love the way you're tackling it from all angles, and you're seeing it through different lenses in different ways, as opposed to, just focusing on one particular way of solution. So thank you so much for that. We appreciate that.
Thank you. Thanks for letting me talk to you.
Oh, you're quite welcome. No problem.
Appreciate what y'all do.
Thank you as well. Appreciate
Everybody.
that. Thank you. Same here.